Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahabushai, Bahasham, Rakahakwadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahabushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson. I'm going to start it off with this video from Only the Savvy's YouTube channel titled, What Neuralink and BlackRock Are Doing is Terrifying by Whitney Webb. And hey, just another clear example that we truly are living in the last seconds of these last days, and that these last few prophecies before this end of the age of the Gentiles or the heathen nations ruling is at hand, and then the coming kingdom of heaven under the true children of Israel, who are known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And that linchpin of prophecy we are diligently waiting for right now is the mandatory implementation of the MARKOFTHEBEAST in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, which is the RFID/NFC micro C-hip implant. And anybody telling you anything else is a false prophet. And with how quickly things are ramping up, which we'll see with the information I'll be going into, hey, you really need to be drawing that line in the sand as an Israelite and, getting down to business on knowing and following the true prophets, because you don't want to be caught out there when, the MOTB is rolled out and mandatorily implemented, and you're trying to figure out, what am I going to do? Am I going to take it because, so-and-so said it's not the MOTB? Or, am I going to take it? Or am I not going to take it because, these brothers said that it is the MOTB? But as Apostle Tahar has been saying, lately with a lot of his videos, when everything's said and done, you Israelites are going to know that GMS or Great Millstone had the 100% truth out here and broke down these scriptures correctly and weren't leading you astray. But this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he causeth all, that he, being the elite rulers of the planet right now, who are of the nation of Esau, Edom, or the so-called white man, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Gettys, the DuPonts, all these major, families, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, everyone in society that's on the grid, to receive a MARK in their right hand or in their foreheads. And we know with Elon Musk, he's dealing with what? The Neuralink, which is that BCI, that brain computer interface, so it plays into the MARK in the forehead. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, and then get a job, travel abroad, do anything in society, save he that had the MARK or the name of the BEAST or the number of his name. But I'm going to jump around a little bit in this clip to get the main points. And this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
Just wait till the Neuralink mandates to make sure everyone is, not secretly thinking about committing crimes before they happen.
Today's video explores the convergence of big tech, biotech, and government influence, particularly regarding surveillance, longevity research, and brain-machine interfaces.
Straight to the point. Brain-machine interfaces, that MARK in the forehead. And what did Whitney Webb start off with saying? Oh, you're going to be worried about the Neuralink mandates, to where they know if you're thinking a negative thought or not, which this devil wants to get that C-hip in you so he can know, track, and control every aspect of your life, as it said in verse 17, that they may neither buy nor sell, save he that had the MARK. But now I'm going to jump to the 4-minute and 8-second mark.
this, you know, this idea of selling biosurveillance and all of this is a way to improve, market response to healthcare products and all of this stuff, I would argue is really kind of a sly way to manufacture what I think is pretty openly acknowledged as the final frontier of mass surveillance, which is surveilling people's bodies.
And she said, what? Using biohealth and, marketing it to the people to make them that much more acceptable of having implants put under their skin. Which, real quick, I'm going to read a little bit of this article from theguardian.com. Elon Musk put a C-hip in this paralyzed man's brain. Now he can move things with his mind. Should we be amazed or terrified? An accident left Nolan Arborough paralyzed, but Musk's Neuralink brain forehead implant allows him to control computers with his thoughts. Is it a life-changing innovation that could help millions, or the start of a dystopia where a billionaire can access our thoughts? And hey, the cover story is it being a life-changing innovation that could help millions, but the reality is a dystopia where a billionaire can access your thoughts and the elites can control every aspect of your life. So let's run that back real quick.
This, this idea of selling biosurveillance and all of this is a way to improve, market response to healthcare products and all of this stuff,
Hey,
I would argue is really
marketing biosurveillance to improve marketing of health products, such as allowing Nolan Arborough with Neuralink to be able to use his mind to work machinery to help his life. They even said what they want to do with Neuralink is allow it to give people, control of a machine that would allow them to see again. They were saying first, you'd see things would look like Atari, back from the 70s, I believe. And then with each successive generation, the graphics would get better and better. Also allowing people to hear again, etc., etc. Marketing this technology as a medical miracle to make life better for those that had tragic circumstances happen to them. Which brings us back to Revelation 13 and I'm going to jump up to verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. And this is speaking of America, which plays into the bigger, last leg of the 4th beast in Daniel chapter 2, those iron toes mixed with miry clay, which is the reincarnated Roman Empire, which, is this NATO EU system, which the U.S. is a part of and at the head of. And those 2 horns like a lamb are speaking of these, political parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, which one side says, we'll help you out, and the other side says the same thing to their followers. But they both spake as a dragon. They're still on board with the agenda of the elites, which is taking away your rights and bringing in more draconian measures. And ultimately, what? Getting that C-hip in you, a digital, cashless society. Verse 12, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, speaking of the ancient pagan Edomite Roman Empire, which, what? Ancient Rome had a Senate house with elected senators, and they had political parties like the plebeians and the patricians, and also, a lot of sports go back to ancient Rome. We've got Colosseums, down here. The Superdome was renamed the Caesar Superdome. If you want to go into the medical field, what? You got to learn Latin. The list goes on. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Esau coming into power and using his blessing, the sword, to take the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven, and also using his technology and pseudosciences to put him up as, the top person on the earth with all the answers, causing all these different nations of people to follow after him. Hence, why what? The US dollar is the world reserve currency right now. Suits and ties and a shaved face is considered the appropriate business etiquette. If you want to be an airplane pilot, you got to speak English. Verse 13, and he doeth wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Going back to those 2 atomic bombs dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima during World War II, which, after America did that, everybody got in line. But here's the main point, verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Elon Musk puts a C-hip in a paralyzed man's brain that allows him to control computers with his thoughts. Eventually allowing the blind to see again and the deaf to hear. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And the image of the beast are the financial, political, and military aspects of this system, which, when you look at these different nations, they model their governments and their societies after Esau in the West. Now let's go back to this clip.
Kind of a sly way to manufacture what I think is pretty openly acknowledged as the final frontier of mass surveillance, which is surveilling people's bodies through wearables and eventually through things inside the body, nanomedicines, and of course I would put brain computer interfaces, BCIs like Neuralink, in that category. And I think it's important to remember too, with brain machine interfaces or BCIs, that it ultimately comes to the FDA to approve them. FDA tends to grant them breakthrough device status, which sort of waives some of the quote unquote regulatory red tape for these things. But we have, Elon Musk having a very prominent role in the government right now. He doesn't have to divest from any of his companies at all in that role, and neither does another PayPal mafia figure who's also now a special government employee, David Sachs, the crypto AI czar. And as crypto AI czar, it's very possible he could partner with someone like O'Neill, who is also a very big advocate for AI in healthcare.
And look up the definition of fascism, where the government and private industry or corporations and companies are intimately tied into each other, to where, corporations, can dictate, public policy. And, with Elon Musk and a bunch of these other business people having close ties to Donald Trump, America is, a fascist state now. So with those particular major players in position, these technologies and these infrastructures getting rolled out, it's just going to be that much more easy to do it. And Donald Trump could very well be the man that rolls out and mandatorily implements the MOTB, which, Abaratazah, he is the man. Apostle Tahar has deemed 2025 to be the hopeful year of the deliverance of the elect and the destruction of Esau, Edom, in his system. And, Abaratazah 2025 is the year of the deliverance, but with the way things are looking, if it's not 2025, just know that our salvation is nearer than when we believed. But now I'm going to jump to the 11-minute and 36-second mark.
Webb explores the potential societal implications of this technological shift, particularly the role of government agencies like the FDA in fast-tracking brain-machine interfaces, BCIs, and other biotech innovations.
And remember that Donald Trump just recently signed, I think it's Stargate, the Stargate program or the Star something, where the US is investing in $500 billion, half a trillion, in AI and digital infrastructure. I wonder why.
The speakers highlight how figures like Elon Musk, through Neuralink, and other companies backed by government-connected investors are pushing for FDA approvals with reduced regulatory oversight. They argue that these efforts align with a larger trend of creating the Internet of Bodies, where personal health data is constantly monitored and monetized. The conversation also touches on Palantir's expanding role in global surveillance, its bipartisan government support, and its integration into both national security and public health infrastructure. Ultimately, the speakers warn that these developments could lead to a new form of technological control, where private companies and government interests work together to shape the future of health, data, and personal freedom.
Well, they want to mine people constantly for biodata and have the AI constantly awash in data that our bodies generate, because data is the new oil. So you have to tap every possible source you can for data. And the best way to generate data is to continually extract it from something that's alive. So that's why I think, we're having a lot of this push into Internet of Bodies, the Internet of Forests, and all of these things. Because the parameters of a living thing are constantly in flux, right? Because it's alive, it's not inert. And so you can generate a lot of data and the more successful your AI will become is determined by how much data it's feeding on and also the quality of that data, right? So I think that's one of the incentives here. And again, I think people might sort of be ignoring brain-machine interfaces at their own risk, because there are a considerable amount of ties to that industry from this administration. So again, obviously Elon Musk is probably the most obvious because of Neuralink. Which has had a lot of controversies over the amount of animals that died during their animal trials, for example. And if the FDA under Trump is very amenable to BCIs, we could see them potentially commercialized over the next 4 years.
The Trump administration is very amenable, which means agreeable to BCIs.
Because again, those are devices that have to undergo FDA approval in order to go on the market. But there's several companies that are farther along than Neuralink are. One of those is BlackRock Neurotech, which recently received a very significant investment from the stablecoin issuer Tether, which has a lot of ties to Howard Lutnick, the Secretary of Commerce. And Tether, of course, is also very much connected to Rumble. Rumble, of course, also tied to Howard Lutnick, also tied to J.D. Vance, the vice president, and Peter Thiel. And their general counsel just became the number 2 guy at the CIA, Michael Ellis.
That's it with that clip. But hey, so as you can see, there's a lot of conflicts of interest, an intermarrying of government and corporate interests, fascism, which I said it was where, business has a very heavy hand in influencing government policy. I may have had it backwards where it's, the government, has a heavy hand in influencing corporate interests, or, vice versa, or both. But just know that America is a fascist state, which again, business and government interests closely entwined with each other and influencing each other's policies. But hey, we can see that with each passing day, we're getting closer and closer to the, full rollout of that CHIP, these CBDCs, and this digital cashless society. And it's not just the United States of America that's on board. It's other nations as well. Remember, he causeth all. Which brings me to this article on naturalnews.com. Russia to launch nationwide facial recognition payment system this year, 2025. And I'm going to just read the bullet points. Russia plans to launch a comprehensive facial recognition payment network this year, led by Slovakia. Led by Sberbank and the National Payment Card System, NSPK. So facial recognition being tied to what? Buying and selling. And, the eventual end goal is going to be to get that CHIP in you, because, they're going to say, while facial recognition and palm scans are, they're an advancement in society and they make things that much more convenient, there's also still a chance that, your information could get hacked, or an AI could, misidentify a person and cause problems. Because, when a couple of years ago, I remember reading an article where AI wasn't able to differentiate facial scans of people of color. So when they were giving that information to the authorities, the wrong people would be getting arrested. So how much easier would it be if you had your own personalized CHIP with your biometrics, banking, and other data on it? It just needs to scan that code on that CHIP and you're good to go. The project includes installing approximately 2 million biometric payment terminals nationwide, starting with Moscow's metro system in 2024 and full national deployment by the second half of 2025. The initiative integrates with the Unified Biometric System, UBS, a state-run database for identification and authentication, raising privacy concerns. The system will support various payment methods and features such as age verification for restricted purchases and automated hotel check-ins, potentially making it adaptable to emerging financial technologies. The project raises significant privacy questions due to the integration of facial recognition technology into law enforcement operations, with fears about surveillance and potential misuse of biometric data. Now I'm going to go to my last article on the peoplesvoice.tv. Smart cities will replace digital IDs with facial recognition, says AI CEO. And that's another thing. These smart cities, these 15-minute cities, to where everybody's going to be confined to those areas and everything you need is just 15 minutes away. But in order to be a part of it, you got to play ball, which involves what? That charagma in you. Avathon CEO Parvinder Johar discussed his vision of optimized and omnipresent surveillance during a panel at this year's WEF meeting. Avathon, which produces AI tech including the surveillance kind, believes that in the next 5 to 10 years, there will be no need for digital ID because facial recognition and other things will be built into so-called smart cities. He claimed you won't need a digital identity because you have the facial recognition and other things built into your smart cities. But like I just said, they're going to have it to where, look, it's convenient and makes things easier, but there's still a chance of AI misidentifying you or your biometric data being stolen. Hey, get this CHIP in you, which can't be hacked. And what will come next? Implantable micro CHIPs? And that's exactly what's going to come next. Reclaim the Net reports the panel was dedicated to digital public infrastructure, DPI, a buzzword used by digital ID proponents like the UN, the EU, the WEF, and Gil Bates. And Johar said the financial and identity portions of digital ID will converge to produce the result he predicted. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive MARK in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man may buy or sell save he that had the MARK. But that's it with this video. But as we can clearly see, these prophecies are no longer tarrying, and they're quickly coming to their fulfillment, which, actually I'll close it out with that Habakkuk 2, verse 3, but I'll start at verse 1. And I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the men of the Lord are standing upon their spiritual watch, watching the news and reading the scriptures, and then filtering the news through the scriptures to do video epistles like this, and go out and preach the word to wake up and warn the hopeful elect of the things to come, as it's about to say. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. The elect hearing this word and get themselves correct in the sight of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And we're seeing, hey, Revelation 13 verses 16 to 18 is no longer tarrying, but quickly coming to pass. So the, IUIC, I believe ISUPK, and you other prophets, well, I'll say false prophets out there that aren't teaching what, the MOTB is. What do you have to say now? Hey, you're going to get a lot of blood on your hands if you don't, put your pride to the side and actually preach what the scriptures are saying. But again, that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere, Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharella, and until next time, Shalom.